Okay, now let's do 6.4. We're going to practice iterating, which means we're going to practice using our for of loop. So this assignment, a lot of students got stuck on. It's a little bit complex, but the basic idea is when you click this button, when you click the horror button, these 3 horror movies should show underneath. And when you click the action button, you're supposed to put 3 action movies to show underneath, and same with comedy. So the general construction looks like this. There's a horror button, and the document, we go find the thing that has the class horror button. You can see that right here. We have an array, so that's Midsommar is the first movie, Hereditary is the second movie, and then we have Get Out. So that's just right here in the JavaScript. And then horror div is this spot underneath the horror button. So we go to the document and we select the thing that has the class horror recommend. So that's right here. So let's read the instructions. It says, number 1, display all of the horror movies from the array when the user clicks the horror button using a loop, using a for loop. So right here, they started the loop for us. They wrote the onClick function for the horror button, which we have right here. That's this button. And now we have to use a for of loop. So the keyword is for, parentheses, brackets. And in the parentheses, remember, we have to say let movie of, and then the name of the array. So you could put anything here, but they're movies. So I put let movie of, what's the name of the array? Looks like it's called horror. So I'm going to say let movie of horror. And then what we're going to do is something here with movie. What are we going to do with movie? Well, we have this horror recommend, that is this div right underneath the button. And that's what we want to use. We want to take that div and we want to insert some adjacent HTML. And it's going to look like this. And the HTML that we want to insert is actually that movie. That's how we're going to start that. So what it's going to do is, in this area, it's going to go through every movie in this array. So this movie, this movie, this movie. And for each movie, it's going to insert the movie into this area. Let's see if it works. So when I click here, it says, I expected 2 arguments, and I only put one thing in the parentheses. The thing that we're missing is probably before end. So now, when we click it, it says Midsommar, Hereditary, and Get Out. But it's not very good HTML because we don't just want them smashed together like that. We want to use string concatenation to create maybe a new paragraph for each movie. So instead of just putting movie, we're going to have an opening paragraph tag and a closing paragraph tag and the movie in between. So now what we have is 3 movies like that. So now's the part that you have to do on your own. You have to do the same thing for action and the same thing for comedy. So, you know what I like to do? Sometimes, if there's some perfectly good code for horror, I can copy it, and then instead of horror, I deleted all those comments, I'm going to change all of these to action, because there's probably something called action button, there's probably something called action for the array, there's probably something called action recommend. And I don't know that for sure, but usually code follows patterns. So let's check that. I said action button, go get me the thing with the class action button. So right here, the button has no class. So we actually have to add the class here. We have to add the class action button. Look at that, they tricked us. And then the action movies, well, they shouldn't be these movies. They should probably be Top Gun, Fast and Furious, and probably, I don't know, Star Wars? That's an action movie, and sci-fi. So now we have 3 new movies, and then Action Recommend goes to the document and finds the thing that has the class, that's that period, Action Recommend. So is it true? There's a div with Action Recommend? Yep, it's already there. So now we're ready to write the same click handler. It's going to use action button. It's going to say on click. And then, what else does it say? I usually copy and paste. Equals function, open close parenthesis.
I'm going through that, Chips.
Super cool, thank you. And then inside that function, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to write a for loop, we're going to insert a JSON HTML, and we're going to use string concatenation. So right here, we're going to say for, open close parenthesis, open close brackets. We're going to say let movie of action. And then do what? We're going to take our div called action recommend, and we're going to insert adjacent HTML, and it's going to be before end, and it's going to be movie, and it's going to include paragraph tags. Here's the closing paragraph, and here is the opening paragraph. Let's see if it works. When I click action, it works, but that's annoying. The color is not that great. So what if I look at the CSS and I say horror action in the action category? I'm going to change the font color to white. How do you like that? Much better. Okay, you're going to do comedy on your own. Good luck.